Welcome to Doc Tennis.
Hey.
What's up?
We've got Oak, Manish, and Troy.
What's up?
The crew.
And we asked you guys what you want to know about that's not an Pure Arrow or a Yonex V-Core.
We were very specific.
Very specific, because I think we've talked those to death. So we have a ton of new items to talk about. I have a fun icebreaker question for you guys. This is a la Jesse. Shout out to our video department.
Oh, what's up?
If you could pick a brand to be sponsored by, what brand would you pick? And then this gets complicated because tennis players aren't always head to toe with their gear and their apparel and their shoes. So anything, I couldn't come up with mine. Okay, I don't know. You guys look like you know. Like, it's easy.
Well, I know Manisha's, but
RF brand.
Yeah,
On.
Wilson racket, and then shoes are on.
Okay.
I have the tattoo to match it. You know?
You get automatic
He's already.
sponsorship. Do you guys, would you?
Is this a lifetime sponsorship?
I mean, I guess you could sign a contract. Are you
might have to
signing
go
with
Audi.
Yonex? Nice.
yeah, like, does it have to be a tennis brand?
Yeah,
'Cause I'm
Rolex.
I'm thinking like Cliff Bars.
Lavazala. Lavazala. What is the coffee?
Is that all you would eat for the rest of your life?
Dude, all I eat is Cliff Bars anyway.
Yeah.
Or the Trader Joe's one's pretty good, huh? I've seen those.
Tennis
What about
gear.
Okay.
But I could be
Tennis
driving
gear.
Audis for the rest of my life. I
You don't
love
have-
their
you could buy
cars.
all your, yeah,
You know?
Okay.
I love their cars.
Okay, sure.
So
I'm
stylish.
going tennis. I feel like On would be cool. Like, they just seem like a fun brand, and they do some interesting stuff. I like their footwear. I might be in the minority there, but yeah.
I'll wait.
Even if you don't like it.
That's tough.
I know. I don't know. I was saying, like, I like Adidas right now for footwear, but I don't necessarily always love their apparel. But sometimes I love their apparel.
But then you have like, okay, like I've used Yonex for a while, and then some of they got apparel, they got shoes, but Wilson's doing like the head to toe stuff
Yeah.
pretty well.
That's what I was saying.
Even Head has some great shoes, good rackets.
The tough one.
So I don't know.
Food for thought.
You didn't tell us yours.
I said I don't know what I would do because I like Adidas. I don't know. I don't even know what I wear a lot of. I wear like a mix, and then it still hurts my soul if there's like Adidas on top, Nike on the bottom, Asics on the bottom. Like, tell me you work at Tennis Warehouse.
Then there's like the brands like athleisure, like Lulu,
I know. If we're going like
ALO,
non-brands that
Alo.
we carry, I'm a big fan of Target's athletic brand. Like they've got some cool
good stuff.
Yeah, because they
Yeah.
basically, first of all, shout out to Naya. She did this whole like video the other day on her socials, and it was like, you guys look at this cute dress. Guess where it's from? And she did the whole video in the dress, and you're like thinking, oh, it's Wilson for sure, or Lululemon for sure. It was a Target dress.
Nice.
Target. Yeah, it's a red dress. It's cute. It's super
The
cute.
tennis aesthetic has taken off.
Yeah.
Even people who I'm not saying like it's a bad thing, but I like that tennis as like an aesthetic is now becoming like a thing.
It's made it easier for me to come to work and not worry about like, oh, am I gonna wear jeans or something? I'm just all in on the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Because before, like a couple years ago back, I'd be like, okay, on Friday maybe I'll dress nice. Now I'm like athletic wear 100% of the time, period.
I saw a video, was it yesterday, of Layla Fernandez, and she's sponsored by Lulu, right, for
Yeah.
clothes.
Yeah.
And then like so her badge was it was a Lulu hoodie, and then she's sponsored by Air One.
Oh,
I'm like,
gosh.
how bougie is that?
Wait, do they have Air One in Canada?
I don't know.
Maybe she'll get her own smoothie.
Yeah, $30 smoothie.
I saw something the other day that was like, you guys, you can buy smoothies from other places outside of Air One.
Yeah.
It's true.
If you know, you
Blenders,
know.
that's where we go to.
It's a
Blenders.
Central Coast thing.
Can we get a sponsorship? Blenders.
Troy and I are blended.
I'm here for that too.
Uh,
Okay, so let's grind through the questions that were generated on YouTube, and then we can go into some more specifics. I'm going to try not to let these guys talk too much, but, you know, it is easy. Is there any chance a new Percept could be coming out this year? I don't think so.
When was the last one introduced, the mint one? Would it be at the end of this year, like going into 27?
Probably, because it's been, 2 years now?
Would it be 2 years, like this fall? Is that when it would be, roughly?
I feel like they've been doing one per year pretty consistently, but...
Yeah.
And the fact that we have no even thought about this is probably, I don't know. Well, we don't always know, I guess, but
Yeah, true.
it's not on our radar.
Maybe like early 27? I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. At the earliest.
Yeah.
Here's the one. There have been a lot of videos on shoes lately. I'm curious what the T-Dub crew's favorite shoes are that are available and why. What in the rotation and what do you want to see change about your favorite shoe? We do have some favorite shoes today that we can talk about. Also, this could be next. Let's just go favorite shoes because there are a lot of shoes and there's still a lot that we haven't tried.
You want to go?
I can. Yeah, I've been playing a lot in the Solution Speed FF4 from ASICS. I think it's a great update. It's a little bit heavier than the previous one, slightly wider in the toe box. Reminds me of like an old Gel Res 7, honestly, a lot.
But not as, like you said, not as substantial.
Not quite as substantial.
A little speedier.
Yeah, but just so fast. I feel like I can get to just that extra ball, and that's kind of my whole game. So, but
and the cushioning's pretty decent for a lighter weight shoe.
Yeah, cushioning's great, honestly. And then still playing a lot in my K-frame speeds from K-Swiss.
Which are kind of opposite of the Solution Speed, or no?
I mean, they're both fast, stable, comfortable. I would say the K-frame speed is a little bit more narrow in terms of like how it holds your foot.
Okay.
The one change I would maybe like to see for the second version of that shoe is just maybe a little more TPU around the toe box. I'm just dragging through that area, unfortunately. But
on the K-frame, right?
Yeah. Those are my go-to two right now.
I've been really liking my barricades. The break-in the break-in was like almost tragic because it took a while. But then once I got into it, I really liked it. It's super breathable, which for a barricade especially, because I have used the previous barricades and they weren't the most. This one is probably the most breathable, lightest, and I think we have that stats as well, which is. But yeah, I really like my barricade. It's very comfortable. I like that little lean I have on it. Which,
it's always kind of higher than
so it lets me like go for the ball.
Were you on the review?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can you just explain real quick what about the break-in? Because it is like the lightest, most flexible barricade, and like by theory, it shouldn't really need a break-in. But it was more your foot type and the way it fits.
Yes, okay. It's the foot type because again, you guys know I'm wide at the forefoot, so breaking that part in was the hardest part because then again you have the claw thing as well that you have to get through as well. So that part as well.
So it was more of a fit issue.
Yeah. More of a fit
compared
issue.
to like the old barricades, like the 5s and the 6s, like this barricade is like super flexible out of the box. Those were like bricks. So when those needed to break in, they needed to break in for any foot type. Like Andy Murray used to have a training partner that would wear his shoes for him to break them in because they were that stiff, So I wouldn't say they're stiff or anything like that.
I know that some of the guys struggled with the barricade, but the ladies didn't. But for my personal side of things, the traction almost needed a little bit of a break-in.
Yeah, it was kind of.
It felt like sandpaper-ish. Yeah. But I know they were using a new rubber compound. It wasn't my favorite to start with, but it was fine after.
Yeah,
it's a very unique rubber. Yeah, it was very, very weird, like to the texture.
Yeah. It felt like I was wearing a clay shoe on a hard court.
Oh, is that?
Because it was kind of like even the sound. If you've ever done that, again, tell me you work at Tennis Warehouse without telling me. We did.
Scratching? We
once did. Oh, I want to say it was the Adidas SkyCon, or there was once a play test where we like tested clay shoes on a hard court. can't remember. Was it Sticon? Sticon had the really tight herringbone pattern.
Yeah.
It might have been that one.
There was also an old New Balance shoe called something Minimus 6.
Oh yeah.
And that was literally like only good for. Technically, it was supposed to be good for clay because it was so minimal. There was like no chassis.
There's someone here that still wears that shoe in this building.
What?
Colette wears it when she goes and plays paddle because it's like a court shoe.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Troy, any shoe comments?
This year, so I'm really looking forward to the new Rush Tour 5.
I'm excited for you guys.
I've tried it on like a handful of times in meetings and samples, and like if you watch any of the shoe reviews I do, I like cushion. I don't care about lightweight. I don't care about, like, to me, the theory of like lightweight shoes and speed is, yeah, maybe if you're running 100 meters, but I'm not a world-class sprinter. When I was playing football in my 20s, I was pretty quick, but nowadays I just want something comfortable, cushioned, reliable, and it feels really much like that type of shoe.
Nice.
Like, yeah, it's got a pretty price tag. It's around $200 or so. On the plus side, it does have a 6-month durability guarantee.
These guys just talked about On. Have you seen the price of those shoes?
Yeah.
Just saying. Sorry.
Yeah, it's night and day different than any On shoe I've tried. Maybe the closest in comfort would be the Advantage Pro. But this Rush Tour has very good cushioning. So, like, the midsole's one thing, and then they have this, like, really super compressed sock liner insole. So it just feels plush.
I want to see how it compares to the Intrigue Tour because they look like a little similar.
I just received my pair. I'm the only one who has it right now.
Whatever.
Those are Rush Pros.
No, the toes.
They're pros. They're not the Tour.
I got both.
They're not the Lehechka and catching up. No, but they're really cool looking too. They look like a basketball shoe. They remind me of like a Luka Doncic shoe, like some of those Nike, like modern profile hoop shoes. So that one I'm like super looking forward to. But other than that, I really like the Revolt Pro that came out this year. That one actually, I think I mentioned it earlier. For people that love the Gel Resolution 9 and maybe don't like the changes of the Gel Res X. I hate all the Gel Res X hate because a lot of people are hating on it. I don't think they've actually like fully gave it a chance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But if you go to like any like high level tournament, a lot of college players, a lot of juniors that are sliding, it's super durable. But anyways, if you like the Gel Res 9, I think you'll like the Revolt Pro 5.0. So I think that might be worth a try. And it has the guarantee.
Nice. There was also a question about what are your favorite socks. I know we've kind of Boonies hit on socks before. No Show Crew, white or black, everything socks. Do you guys have any favorite go-to socks? And I know
I do. I only specifically wear this one Nike Dry Fit one.
Is it the unicorn?
No, it's just called the Nike All Day Cushion or Everyday Cushion one, and it's one of the best ones I've had. I've tried multiple different socks, and I keep going back to it. It's affordable, like it's not that expensive, but yeah, that's the only socks I wear.
Those are pretty good. The only downside is like after a lot of washes and wear, they wear out pretty fast. Right?
Yeah.
They thin out a little bit.
Yeah.
And do you have a height preference in your socks?
Always crew. Always crew. I don't think you guys have ever seen me in no shows.
Yeah, we have. I have.
You have, because that's the only sock I had that day. If I had a preference, crew any day, white socks, crew, white shoes. If I could every day, I would.
Okay.
It's a classic tennis look for sure.
I'm wearing it right now.
I mean, for me, it's probably going to be a little bit more like outfit specific.
Yeah.
So I'm big into
match.
I try to like match like the sock to the shirt typically. And then if it's like a darker silhouette shoe, darker sock, that kind of thing. But
Oak's sock collection's pretty big.
What can I say?
He's got a big sock collection.
Troy, I know you have sock favorites.
Yeah. Like,
you'll rock the different socks.
I think it's all about your outfit. Like you gotta match the drip, Manish. Like like if you're wearing like a 5-inch inseam, yeah, the crew socks are good. If you're wearing like a longer short, no show socks, a lot of times look good, depending on the fit. You know, if I'm wearing Birkenstocks, I'll wear like a thicker crew sock. You know.
You and the books, man.
But I'm just saying, like, it's a style. Like, it goes with different stuff, you know. There's not a one size fits all. But I have Solinko socks on right now, and they're really good.
Nice.
I don't know if we actually carry them, but the crew socks are really comfortable.
The heaven
cool.
ones?
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks. Shout out to
KT.
KT over at Solinko for the plug on that.
I got Solinko sweatshirt on. Thanks,
yeah.
KT, for outfitting us.
Didn't think we would be talking about socks.
You never know.
That's really cool.
That was a good question.
Michelle, you pulled off some crew socks in a review recently.
I'm working on I am kind of it depends on my mood and the vibe, but I like to, there's actually socks that our sister company, Running Warehouse, sells, like rabbit socks that are like technical socks that I like to run in. And so the other day I was wearing a pair of Stances that I just was having fun with. I have bright pink Lululemons on right now. But I also like to kind of play around. I'm trying to lift the height of my sock, which is supposed to make me look younger.
That's I've seen a lot of people just going crew.
mean, if you want to go like all the way up to the knee, you go old school, just old school style, right? The higher the socks.
I mean, the compression is good for you.
Yeah. I will note like a style thing I noticed recently, and it was like watching Carew stuff ever since he switched to On. But like the Fonseca and the On has their socks, and it's like they're in between a quarter and a crew. And it's kind of like a cool, it's like almost like a unique style right now. It's like not quite crew, but it's
and I feel like that fits
length.
for women also, because I feel like the kids are wearing like a higher. It's not too big, but it's not.
Yeah,
because like a whole
the
kind of
kids
style
thing is you pull it all the way up, and then you have
Slouch
to have like
it.
little.
No.
You have to have little ridges, and like you just gotta slouch it a little.
That's literally what we did in the 80s.
Yeah.
It all comes back around.
Yeah.
Oh god, I'm over this question. Okay, in the video we had a boom, and there are lots of questions about boom. Boom goes the dynamite.
Boom.
How does the boom compare to the previous version? I have the boom team, version 1 and 2. I currently play with the second one. I like the new color. Someone's asking, when does the boom come out? So let's talk a little bit about the boom. Maybe, I think, Oak, you were on the MP.
Mm-hmm.
We were on the Pro. Were you on?
No,
Troy was not on any booms.
Boom, but
It wasn't booming.
I've heard good things.
And maybe we can talk about the colors. So, Oak, you want to start us out?
Yeah, I mean, I love that cosmetic, honestly. I think it's really nice. You don't see a lot of rackets this color. Obviously, Coco Gauff's endorsing this cosmetic. But I was pleasantly surprised by that Boom MP. I was not expecting to have as much fun with it as I did. It was a little bit more of like a ground stroke heavy experience for me, just really fun to sort of like hammer shots off either side with. Didn't quite love it as much on like serve and returns, but man, for being 295 grams.
Oh, it's not 300.
It's not 300. Yeah, so it's a little bit lighter, fairly open string pattern, I would say. And with that, it's surprisingly stable. I was just honestly surprised at how well it held up against heavier pace.
For 295.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
not too stiff feeling.
Not too stiff. Comfortable, great power, good feel. I know they changed the string pattern a little bit. So it's supposed to be a little bit more optimized for better energy return, according to their presentation. But yeah, I honestly really enjoyed it. And the Pro was fun too. I didn't hit with it as much, but I liked it.
You really like the Pro, right,
Manny? I did. I want the purple cosmetic.
Okay.
So you want a Pro in the purple?
Yeah.
So we should distinguish that. The MP is coming out in both colors or just purple?
Both colors for the MP.
Colors.
Yeah.
But the purple is the racket that Coco's endorsing, so they are only putting the purple on the MP. Sorry, Manish. On the Pro, I'm gonna have an unpopular opinion. I really did not like the cosmetic or the color at all day one. Did not like.
Would you also prefer the purple then?
Did not. No. Not for me. However, by day, let's say 35, I like it. It grew on me. The racket grew on me as the play test went on. I wanted to hate this racket, and I actually really liked it.
Yeah.
It's my favorite of all the booms, previous generations. And I also in the video say that I like it more than a Radical Pro.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, high praise. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
She said that. Yeah.
It was like a racket where I was like, why am I playing so well with this? Slightly thicker beam, similar weight to the Radical Pro. I think I'm looking at Troy for like
no, they're both
98
like
square
310.
inches. Sweet spot was forgiving, a little bit muted.
While we're talking boom, though, what Troy and I are looking for is that Mariano Navone 1820 extended length boom.
Boom, boom, boom.
Too much boom.
Ed, make it happen.
That'd be cool.
And do the purple. Not just kidding.
Yeah.
Combine the colors.
You guys would still want a more denser string pattern. I felt like I wasn't getting the most string movement, and it felt like it was more of like an 18 main than a 16.
Well, I think he does the 1820 on the 100 square inch.
Yes.
Ah.
So I think it would work in the 100. This one, I think, the Pro, I think is dense enough in the string spacing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I had a bit of a difficulty with spin generation, especially on the kick. I was not getting that same jump, but even on the ground strokes, I wasn't feeling it. But the hitting flat, it just goes and stays in. I really like the Boom Pro. It was a really nice frame.
But I'm trying to look for the official launch date. I have a feeling this podcast will probably be out once it has launched for pre-sale. But it's in March, early March, right? So
a few more weeks, yeah.
There's a head series of rackets that we haven't talked about that I wanted to talk about specifically in a podcast, but we've done a ton of videos on them, so we're not going to give it its own podcast, but let's talk about the speeds. Let's talk about the
Manish
speeds.
has a lot of experience with the Pro because you did the comparison, right?
Right.
Of the new one versus the old one.
Chris and I did the comparison for the 2024 one with the new one.
Oak did the comparison of the MP.
Jason.
Yeah,
So.
you and Jay. Yeah.
So you guys both also play tested the tour.
Yeah.
I was not on the tour.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good racket, though.
Yeah,
I
Tour's
love
great.
the tool, man. It's one of, if you look at the Zenith data, it's the most spin I have hit amongst any racket that we have tested ever since we started doing the Zenith data. And it's also the most consistent I've hit. And being able to hit that much spin, consistency I get, 97 square inch head size, controlled frame, controlled racket family. That much spin on a 97 square inch head size frame, I was surprised. Surprised, guys.
Surprised.
Yeah, I think I got my most, at least in that testing that we did on the Zenith. I think I had the most on my forehand, had the most spin RPMs on average with the tour, which is it's kind of surprising because it's a 16 by 19 pattern, but it isn't like a super quite as spaced 1619 like say a V-Core or like a Pure Aero 100 or something like that. So, but it's the Tour's a really great frame because it pretty much gives you like that easy versatility that the Speed's known for, and because of the thicker beam for a 97, it's a thicker beam. It gives you that pop and the energy return, but then the smaller head size, kind of like I said when we shot the vlog, is like it gives you that command on the ball still, like a pro staff would. So you get precision, get a little bit of extra pop than most 97s, and then the spin was really good. And I would say nothing about the discomfort or like, I'm not saying but it's got a really low stiffness rating at like 61 or something.
Yeah.
To me, it plays more like a 64, 65. It kind of feels
A
crisper.
little,
But not uncomfortable. It just feels stiffer than it doesn't feel like that low flex like you would from a gravity.
Right. Would you say that's maybe owing to like the new Hybor tech?
Sorry. I think maybe the technology and also the thicker beam design gives it that like kind of firmer feel.
Because I thought the Hybor introduction was great, honestly. I thought it felt really nice, just a little bit crisper and more connected. So on like field shots, like volleys, serves, that's where I noticed it the most, as far as like the overall feel change from the previous generation speeds.
Yeah, same. I agree.
But yeah, I'm excited to see Hybor make its way into the rest of the head families.
Yeah.
Troy, we just did a playtester picks vlog on things that you're loving, and you use the Speed Tour. Is it a switchable racket for you?
There's a lot of good stuff out, and a lot like a few frames that I'm testing right now that are coming.
Okay.
That are really like, kind of like always going back to. It's a really good frame though. Like usually I do prefer like a slightly thinner beam.
Would you pick it over the Pro?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
For me, yes.
Okay.
It's my favorite speed for sure.
Okay.
But out of all the head rackets, me and Booney really did like that Radical Tour, the 1820.
Yeah.
The feel on that's a little better for me. Like
Okay.
it's a little plusher, like my drop shots and like the crafty stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a really good racket. Like it's maybe not my favorite in terms of feel, but the shot production and the way I play with it is really good. Like, and the numbers that I got with it were like some of the best. So it's like,
dang, you guys had good Zenith data with it. It sounds
Yeah.
like magic.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Nice. Okay, let's go on to these new Technofiber rackets. Technofiber Fire launching with a 300 gram, 100 square inch, 16 by 20 racket. And then we have a 98.
Mm-hmm.
We're calling it a 305S. 16 by, did I say 1620?
I think it's 1619.
I did.
Yeah.
It is 1619. I
1619.
saw you look at me and I was like, what did I say wrong? 1619.
but yeah, 100, 300 gram, and then the 98 is 305.
305,
Yeah.
98, 1619 as
Yeah.
well. Oak was on the 300. Manish and I. Nope, just kidding. Who's on the 300?
I think Jay.
Jay, Britt, and
yeah,
Tef.
Yeah.
And Chris? And Chris.
No.
Chris.
Yeah.
Kyla.
Yeah.
Oh, no, she was on
Kyla
the
was on
305.
the 98.
305 with you guys. That's right.
Chris.
We don't know
Nobody
what's
knows.
happening. Chris filmed his in Europe, I'm pretty sure.
Ah.
Yeah, I think maybe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, this is a new franchise from Technofiber. They have a couple players endorsing this frame: Sloane Stevens and Mutet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the homie, the guy from Changeover podcast.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah,
There's Jody, and then the other guy, the main guy. He
Yeah.
plays with the fire.
Okay.
It's fire.
Yeah, he's a
Fire.
Yeah.
Guy,
Guy
yeah.
rips.
I liked the 305S.
First impressions, and last impressions. Impressions. We just filmed it the other day.
Uh-huh.
I was telling everyone that day all I wanted to do was hit the crap out of the ball, which is then people are like, well, how is that any different than every other day? but this racket was really fast, but like stable, and I thought it was pretty forgiving. It's a little stiff though. I'm going to say that.
It is. Remember when we had that awful string in this that was super bagged out and all that?
Yes.
Couldn't for the life of me get a single ball in or anything, and I feel like because it was a bit bagged out and all that, it hurt my elbow a bit more so than it already was.
That
hurt.
string
The
was very
strings were dead.
Yeah, super
trampoline-y.
dead,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
super
trampoline-y.
dead.
And then we got it restrung with some of the prototypes that we've been looking at lately, and changed
Change
everything.
the racket, yeah.
Yeah.
I should have mentioned that in my written comments. I think it is a bit string sensitive.
Yeah, it is. And like you said, if, it comes around faster. So like my favorite shot to hit was, and you'll see it in the review video. Like every time I was on the run on my forehand side, I was just nuking it down the line because it just comes around fast and. Because I'm not having to worry that much about muscling it in because I need that power because the racket's already giving it to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was just swinging it freely and because it's got the power for me and I don't have to put it in there, I felt a little bit more at ease with the way I'm playing.
Yeah.
So no, I genuinely liked the 305S. Even when like Technofiber was here and showing us like the blacked out versions of these rackets and all, I was like, I want the 98.
So it like helped you like in your defensive position, like when you were.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a good gives you that forgiveness when you need it. Yeah.
It's really easy to play first strike tennis with this one too.
Yeah.
Like I found myself coming to the net a lot. And again, I was in the mind frame of like hit the crap out of the ball every single time. I got myself in trouble on returns because it's almost too much power and not like I would say a little less, or I need more control. I was craving a bit more, and because of some of the other rackets that we're using, this one has a bit of a thicker beam, a stiffer feel. But I was coming forward on almost every point.
Yeah.
which was fun. And then at net, Manish was toying with me on the very first point. I said, I'm going to hit the ball as hard as I can every single time. He goes, you better not hit a drop shot. So I cranked a ball and then came to the net and hit a drop shot. So
that's the way to go.
It's got good touch. I wouldn't say feel because, again, I'm not. It's definitely a crisp frame.
Yeah.
But it allowed you to place the ball where you needed to.
Yes. Yeah.
I remember hitting them early on. Technofiber came and showed them to us, and in stock form, I was surprised because I actually liked the 100 better. And I think it's because I expect so much from a 98, especially a Technofiber. Like, I love TF40. Absolutely are enamored with the 305S T-Fight.
Yep.
So good.
That I was just wanting a little bit more feel. And for a 98, I just,
it's a hard
100,
space.
The 100 did what I thought it would. And I think engineering-wise, I'm not a racket maker, but I think it would be a little bit better if they just thinned out the throat a little bit. Like, I understand you need the thicker beam up top for power, but I think if it was just a little thinner down here, I think it would give me a little bit more of that kind of like feel and just a little more flex to it, while still giving you like the big pop and spin. But overall, I mean, they're pretty cool frames, very bright. And they pack power and spin for sure.
He's still yet to switch to the T5 305S.
Check my playtester profile. It's on there.
Check your racket bag.
Okay, Troy, tell us about the string in front of you.
Oh, can we talk about it?
I think we can finally talk about it.
The pink string. And no, we're not talking about no wasabi pink. This is like straight up baby pink from Selenko, confidential soft. But I've been hitting with this one,
forever,
year and a half. I don't know, something like that.
You've been on it, yeah.
And I actually had it the longest time. I think I had it in a T-Fight 305S for like 3 months, just because I always kept it in my bag and I would hit with it. But I didn't know when the string was going to come out, so I was like, oh, I'll keep it in there in case I want to test it. But I really like it, and I like regular confidential. I love Hyper G. The thing that I really like about this one is confidential is one of the most control-oriented strings we have, and it holds tension really well. Now, this is a soft version, and I wouldn't take that as like this is a completely soft poly. It's just a kind of toned down version of the regular confidential in terms of stiffness. So it's still kind of like in that medium firm range.
Yeah.
Not as stiff as regular confidential, which I liked. And also one thing I noticed throughout the time, stringing it, and also like to the texture of my fingers when I was stringing it, and then on court, I don't know if it's any different shape than the regular confidential, but it just felt like it had a little sharper edge to it, so I felt like it gripped the ball pretty well.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best for like sliding and snapback, but I felt like the surface had a good bite to the felt of the ball.
Yeah.
So overall, it's a really consistent string that I don't mind using pretty much in most of my rackets.
Yeah, that's a great point you made. You wouldn't particularly call it like a super soft string or anything.
Yeah.
So if anybody was looking for like a soft string, that might not be the top of my list. But if somebody was coming from like the Lynx Tour or like 4G or something, and they want to still keep that feel and all, I'm probably going to be giving them a set of the confidential soft. So yeah, I liked it as well. Yeah, the color's sick though.
I know. I love the color.
The color is
It's
sick.
fun. The playability. Selenko strings just always, for me, they're so consistent in holding tension and, like you said, it's still a very controlled string.
Yeah.
So
I would say Mach 10 feels even a little softer than this, so I would go with that more for like someone looking for that softer poly feel, and also Mach 10 feels like it shoots the ball more, like
more power,
more flight.
Yeah.
This one feels a little more controlled.
Yeah.
are there other strings? I know we were just kind of talking about this off air. What else has come out?
I did bring this because it's got the grapple snake that you gave me, the M8.
Yeah.
For me.
But that strings existed for a while. It's just that we got it like like end of last year, sometime around that. But this is a really nice string, and
like it?
It's in my FX 500 Tour, which also came out last year. But yeah, this string is really nice. I've been really liking it, and it's very again because I've had the Amish and all that. So in the weekends, I've just played with this because the racket itself, I feel like all of us liked the FX 500 Tour.
Yeah,
but the string, man.
This is a good string. I love the color of that string too.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah.
It's something.
That one's really really consistent. Has good tension maintenance. Yeah, I really like the color of it, the consistency, just a good, reliable, trusty type of string.
The M8 is your mate. It's your mate.
Yeah, it wasn't like when I tested it, like anything was like stellar, but everything was like it checked all the boxes. So yeah, very, very controlled, consistent, not too stiff.
It's worth mentioning, strings never really leave. So, like, they don't really get updated, but they also never leave. So it's always hard to, like, bring a new string in because it's just another option and another option and another option. And you're like, I mean, just because we get asked all the time on YouTube, how does this compare or what's the best string? And it's like, if you find something that is good for you, you don't need to change.
Yeah.
It's fun to test.
Right? Because think about like how many shoes over the past decade or 20 years that we loved and then they discontinued.
And they're gone.
You know? And it's like...
Or rackets. What was the question? Someone yesterday I'm on the internet trolls lately, but saying that we hyped up the Pure Strike... Oh, sorry. We hyped up Project 1.7 and where is it now? And I replied and was like, they changed it. We didn't like the second version.
What do you want?
I didn't like the second version. I didn't like the third version. It's now non-existent. That's where it went. But like that happens a lot with rackets and shoes. But strings?
They stay.
I think they stay.
Yeah. Somebody was trying to compare... what's that? You saw the comment. The Ashway Monogut something with like...
Oh, Triple X.
Yeah. Like, bro, that string and this string, like, I don't...
The ZX is IX. I think me and Britt tested that like 10 years ago. And it has this crazy sound to it. Ping, ping, ping.
Whoa. Chris is finding a similar sound from Triple X.
Triple X? Is it the purple ZX? I don't know.
I've been told there might be some different, I want to say polymers, so I sound smart, but I don't know if that's the right word. I'm going back to shoes because there's a question that I skipped. Is the ASICS Gel Resolution X the most durable shoe you can still buy? Will they be coming out with new colors? Yes, absolutely. They'll be coming out with new colors. I'm hoping to try them on in a couple months at our Mountain View store.
Yeah, go into Tennis Warehouse, Sports Warehouse, retail store.
Warehouse.
They're bricks.
They are.
I mean, there's like...
Yeah.
Talk about break-in.
Seriously. Like, I don't know if I've ever tested a shoe that durable. The Roger Pro 2s are also extremely durable, but, man, those Gel Res 10s are just, like, ridiculous.
Barricade.
Not even.
Well, and I think Jofi like ran through her outsole. That's the only reason.
On the Barricade?
Uh-huh. Oh, and she's like our hard court slider on the ladies' side. So.
Yeah, I don't think the Barricade, the newest one, is as durable as it was maybe
I don't think so.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Which for good reason, I think.
But it still has the warranty and everything. Yeah. But yeah, in terms of all the shoes that we sell, I think the Gel Res X is probably at the top. Mm-hmm. You know, it's got a really thick, beefy outsole. The upper's pretty well protected. I think if it does wear out, I've seen it like in the players in tournaments, the juniors and like college players that slide a lot. It's always that like medial part of the foot, kind of that knuckle part of your like big toe where they drag and they catch that. I mean, if you drag it hard enough right there, it's gonna wear a hole. But they have the laces tucked inside the medial wall. So it's pretty well protected, like I think for like hard court sliders and everything. It's one of the best, I think.
I can't imagine how they do that.
And it has
I don't even want to know. I've seen shoes that are just holes there and
I've seen him do it.
What, but like, do you feel it when you rip through? Like, how are you not... How's your foot not like bleeding?
With like sliding, it's one of those things that like I'm never looking to do it. It just kind of happens.
It's like out of necessity.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, that's the only way I'm getting to that ball. But I have like on some shoes like burned through, like when I was playing a lot growing up, and then that would start like burning through the sock, and like it's like hoping my next
Like, oh,
pair from
shoot.
Tennis Warehouse comes pretty soon.
Yikes. There's a racket on this table. I don't know why it's here, but I want to know when the update's coming.
Allegedly this year.
Yeah, I know, but like now, like I thought this spring.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. Hopefully. So hopefully we're going to see some new ATS tours later this year. I brought it because it has our in-house tennis-only P6 in it, which we just got a new gauge of. So now available in 1.28 or 1.23. And I've really been enjoying the 1.23, honestly. Just a little bit more bite, a little lighter, so swings a little faster, but available now in reels.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
How much is the reel?
I think it's like 120. Yeah.
There's this guy on the forum who was like theorizing this P6 string like from T-Dub, like I feel like it's a Lynx tour because a Lynx tour tends to be thicker than what they say, and I just can't imagine how T-Dub was able to get head to give them the Lynx tour in a different color, but I really think he went like,
well, Lynx tour does come in silver.
Yeah,
I thought you
this
were going to
guy-
say it comes
this-
from the same factory.
Oh, I don't know about that.
It doesn't.
Okay.
It does not.
But it does play a lot like a Lynx tour, or like a cross, kind of like a Hyper G tour bite. It doesn't have as much energy return as tour bite, but lots of control. It does feel a little crisper than Hyper G, but it's all in that kind of same realm. It's a very consistent, firm, shaped poly, 6-sided poly.
And do we string a lot of our demos with P6 that are poly demos?
Yeah, most of our polyester demos are going to have this in there.
Okay.
So if you're trying something from our demo program, this is likely what you're hitting with. Yeah. If it's a poly.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's
Is
a
that
good,
head links
good.
tour?
No,
Oh,
this is
sorry.
P6.
Okay.
Wow.
Did we miss anything? Oh, actually we did. I know I've been wrong a lot of things today, but I think you are one of the few that have tried the new Mizuno shoes.
Yes.
Okay.
Wave Exceed Tour 7.
How's that going?
For a lightweight shoe, the stability is kind of off the charts, if I'm being honest. It's just like kind of absurd at how much you can like push on the shoe and still like get like, a good ability to plant and pivot. They're super fast. They're like really, really quick. I was having some issues with traction, but I think that's more to do with some of like my own user error and how I was moving around the court. So
Like too sticky?
no, there's a middle plastic section that if I came down too hard on the middle of my feet,
It would catch, right?
it would catch
the court and slip.
and it would slip a little bit. So I've just had to be a little bit more intentional about staying on the balls of my feet. And, it's not something that I always want to be aware of with a shoe, but, if you are good about staying forward and staying on the balls of your feet, they're phenomenal. So, yeah, I'm excited to keep playing in them, and they're really good for paddle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that would be a good one.
We've seen him a lot on the Pro Tour.
Yes.
One of the guys that was tearing it up in United Cup, Sebastian Baez. That guy was flying, sliding, and he's a user.
He's a user.
Batista Goo.
I see him on the Pro Padel Tour as well.
Yeah.
Nice. And then you guys, I think you might have tried them on this morning, and we just listened to Jay gush about it. The Hypercore Express 3.
Feels good.
Feels good.
I haven't played in them.
Yeah.
But I did fit test them recently.
Yeah.
And they do have that like generous medium fit.
Yeah.
They're not like super wide, but I think they'll work for most wide-footed players. And for me, like I said earlier, I don't really care about them being super lightweight. I think the original version that we had for years, super comfortable, but I thought it was too flexible for like a, sometimes for like serious movement. And I think these are much more substantial. They feel like they'll be more stable.
They look really stable.
But really comfortable right out of the box, the fit, the cushioning. So I'm looking forward to that play test.
And Britt and Jay had a chance to play test them before they launched, and both of them loved them. And Britt has a more narrow foot, and Jay has a wider foot. And Britt was even telling us that she would almost consider it as like a shoe of the year. So that's big.
High praise.
Those are big words.
Yeah.
Queso is killing the game right now.
They have a lot of good shoes right now.
I am excited about that update because I didn't love, what was the one that we tested that it was heavier on the women's side? What am I thinking? Well, the Ultra Shot. I didn't love the updated Ultra Shot, so I'm excited about this one. Sorry. Sorry.
That's a big faux.
Sorry.
Big faux shoe.
I know we were talking about speed shoes. I forgot that I had it on. The Solution Speeds, the new one. I know you mentioned it. I feel like this is I prefer this over my Vapor 12s.
I was waiting for you to chime in when Oak was talking about it because you were saying you liked the shoe, and I was gonna say when you both can agree on a shoe, that's really good.
Yeah, it is a bit narrow, so I was fortunate enough to get a size bigger.
Okay.
But now I just look like.
What was it like? Size 26.
I wasn't gonna mention the size. So regularly I'm a men's 14. I had to go up a size, so I'm 15 now. So it feels a bit weird when I'm running things and I kind of catch it. But otherwise, I've been really liking it for its support because I know it's light and I feel like I'm getting to certain balls a bit quicker and all that. But I'm not worried as much as I was with like my Vapors. And I haven't tested much lightweight shoes. But yeah, this ranks really high when it comes to
that new, what is it, the Trustic system that they put in there? I think that's kind of maybe also what maybe reminds you of a gel res is like it does improve that chassis, like that torsional stability without making it too bulky.
Look how big this thing is.
Well, speaking of, because there actually were a lot of questions about these shoes. Did anyone, aside from Manish, go up in size?
No, I was good in a 9.5. My normal size.
Did
I didn't test it.
No. Okay, so everyone on the women's side went up a half size.
Ah, see?
I think when I tried it on, I was like, oh, maybe I could go to a 10.
Yeah.
Instead of my 9.5, but.
And then I think it's because maybe it is more of a narrow fitting shoe.
Yeah.
But Brit went up too. I don't know. We've had this discrepancy on the men's and women's on a couple models now. But yeah, Tiff has a wider foot. It just felt like the toe box was very crammed. It would have been fine.
All of a sudden it's going straight and just this.
Yeah, so.
Oh, the way it tapers.
And honestly, I can't even tell that it's a half size bigger. So it feels like it was a good choice, and we all agreed on that. But I wasn't sure. I know the men, we sometimes differ because I
think Jay stayed in size as well.
Okay.
So.
I think when I tried it, I was like, I'm usually in between.
Yeah.
I'm like a 9.75, I guess, or whatever. So I think I would leaning towards a 10, but I'd have to go back and try it on.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe for anyone listening and like looking to try these shoes, maybe buy your regular size and the half size and return whatever doesn't work, or just go with it.
I'd almost always recommend doing that.
I know, it's such a good, with free returns, it's so easy. Yeah.
Or just go into our Mountain View or La Quinta.
Yeah.
Or
Silver Spring. What's the place in Georgia? What's it
Go
called?
on our retail,
Sweet Springs? Sweet Springs?
I don't know.
One of our retail shops.
Have any one of you been there? I know you haven't because. But have you two?
No.
To any of the retail shops?
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
soon I'll check out the one in La Quinta. But.
Right.
I saw the one in La Quinta before it opened last March. But no.
They look so cool. That's why I asked. It looks really cool, the retail store.
Yeah. Looking forward to checking it out.
Yeah.
I got a question real quick, Michelle. Don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But have we mentioned anything about bags?
Oh.
So
I wanted to bring up bags.
And I don't know for sure, but I'm going to ask this. And I think it's because we do have them in Australia, tennis only.
And
but
Europe.
A couple people have asked about the Yonex Gear Logic. I've seen a lot of pros.
Oh, yeah.
Like holding them. Is there anything like crazy, like a bunch of compartments? Like what's it? They sound cool.
You haven't heard me complaining this week.
Okay. I guess I didn't.
I have not seen them in person. I have not given any tech info. And I'm flying blind. So
they have a cool name. They sound like they're like super compartmentalized.
Yeah. But I'm supposed to be writing descriptions for Europe and Australia, and I have no idea. I don't know. And I've even had internal people say, "What's up with these bags?" I don't know.
Yeah, the Gear Logic.
Sorry, guys. This is like the real like deal. Like sometimes we literally, we haven't seen it yet. Yeah. Period. Stay tuned. Although they were supposed to ship and be in stock end of January.
And then another problem, another bag thing.
Bags that I have
How many
seen?
colors of head bags came out this year?
That is crazy, guys.
Crazy.
Full rainbow.
I have a tendency to over exaggerate, and I kept saying there's like 60 head bags launching, and then I was like, no, but really. There's in the head tour, there's a small, medium, large, extra large racket bag. Then there's a rack pack and a backpack, and they come in white, blue to match the boom, purple to match the boom, orange to match the radical, pink to match my heart, confidential soft.
There's the extreme colors.
And black. And is there a yellow one too?
I thought I saw it on Europe.
And there's like a navy. There's literally like 8 colors of all of those. Then there's
and does the navy have the center logo?
Oh, no. He's got his own bags. There's 2 or 3 just with the center logos. Then
they'll come into market with them?
Yeah, they're on their website.
They're on the website.
Yeah. And then there's a whole line of like the Pro X head bags. And there's new...
For like legends?
They're just like a little like classier. They're very like monochromatic. They look really nice, but there's a duffel, which is like a racket. Kind of like, it reminds me of the Sharapova bags that she used to carry. More rectangular. And then there's new totes. And then there's like 25L, 18L, and 35L backpacks. I mean, you guys, if you want a head bag, if there is not a bag for you, let us know. There's a lot of those. I'm going to be doing videos next week. If you can't find me, that's why. I'll be drowning in bags. And then Wilson... They just launched some racket covers because that's like actually very trendy right now. I know like as tennis enthusiasts, we don't always do the racket cover thing. But I feel like if you like lived in New York or like... It
carries like a cool like vintage style.
Or like...
Just carrying like a single racket cover over your shoulder, with like a sweater tied around your neck.
That's how it is with his socks, with his white socks.
It's very like the
red. You got that drip.
And then there's also new Babala Pure Aero bags, which I also have not seen in person, but by the time this is out, we should have seen.
They look nice.
They look nice. You've seen them in person?
He was decked up in Aero.
Wait, you have them?
I can show you.
Oh, no, I don't need to see them, but if there's a sample, we should probably get it.
Yeah. Okay, just ask Grace. She should have them. But,
What is it, an aero bag?
There's new Pure Aero bags.
They're doing like aero bag, shoe, apparel, like...
A whole tie-in.
Color and everything,
Oh, snap.
And by the time this goes live, I'm sure the Gear Logic bags from Yonex will be on the website and available.
Gear Logic.
I'm trying to think who else has bags coming. I think that's
I'm mad that some of the cool bags that Europe and Australia have, we don't.
Like what?
This really cool travel
Hildebrand.
bag.
Oh,
this really cool
I can tell you the
bag.
story behind that. That's a great family. You should buy it from them. They make really nice bags, and they source all their materials from like really nice places. Yeah, There's a fun story. They came to Avila on vacation. They're like from Europe, and they came in and presented their bags to us.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Nice.
I actually have a tote of theirs. Yeah, it's really nice. So there you go. I don't know why we didn't bring it in. Well, I do know why we didn't bring it in. They don't have a warehouse in the U.S.
Distribution.
Makes it tough.
For a small vendor, that makes it tough.
Yeah.
So it worked better for our sister sites. Yeah, but you never know. What other bags? What else, Manish? What else do you need?
They always have the nicer colors of everything, or like the cooler stuff. I'm like,
they're probably like all the time saying, "How come we don't get this and the U.S. does?"
They probably do. Yeah.
It's always what you don't have.
Any overgrips that are new?
Yeah, you had some prototypes, some stickies. I got some prototypes. I don't know if and when they're coming to the website.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Can't control it all. Actually, can't control anything.
I'm excited for some of the apparel that's going to be coming up in the next Grand Slams. We've been in a few meetings and a few showings of like some of the apparel that the pros are going to be wearing. And tennis apparel has come a long way. I just want to say everything that we've seen for the last few, from the last few brands that we've been seeing and talking to, all of them look good.
But that's 2027.
Yes, there's one. No, the one we were talking about for the Slam, the US and the US
Open this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some really good ones.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Just saying.
That's what I hate is we see it all and it's like, ooh, that's cool. And then the Slam comes around and I'm like, I can't remember what the story is behind this. But anything else?
Oh.
There's one thing that we didn't talk about that I don't even know if we're allowed to talk about, and I'm going to try to do its own podcast on, but there is a new racket coming into our market.
Yes.
That I'm kind of excited about.
I'm really excited.
You are? Okay. So stay tuned. That's super big.
Yeah.
And we've said the brand today, but we'll do its own podcast. I think it deserves its own podcast beyond the play
I can
test.
just see the comments. This is the new Wilson. No.
It's not a Wilson racket.
I don't know. I'm confused right now.
I think he's yeah. Well, we'll remind you. Anyways, thanks you guys for listening. Thanks for sending your questions. Thanks you guys for joining. Let's go play some tennis. Happy hitting.